thank you so much for being here,
Of
first
course.
of all. Um, if you had told me even 3 weeks ago that I'd be logging out of work and then logging into live to talk to Caleb Stevens, I would have laughed in your face.
Oh, thank you.
Um,
No, it's cool. I love talking with anybody. So about books, there's nothing else that's better, really. So
it's my favorite thing.
yeah.
So I want this to be like super cash. Obviously, like I have a list of questions, but I have a feeling they're just gonna kind of come out. Um,
Sounds good.
but the first one though is what's one question that you wish interviewers asked you more often?
Um, that's a really good question. I think maybe like something that's recently kind of come up is like with my book, You'll Never Know, specifically related to that one. Um, Kind of how like characters relate to authors. That'd be the question, right? And so with that book in particular, there've been some themes with, hey, does the author hate women? This book is misogynistic. Must be something that with the author, and it's sort of it's a strange sort of like assumption, in my opinion, at least, to um, relate a character to an author personally. I think as authors, we try to write characters with flaws and do it in an authentic way so that it's believable, right? And I think that stories would be really boring if you just wrote exactly what you knew or exactly what was safe or straight boring characters. Nobody would read the book. So whether it's writing about serial killers, it doesn't mean you're out there murdering people or
I
stealing or
mean,
whatever it is. So
yeah.
it's dipping into different aspects of life and things like that. So I do think I think that it's interesting that I've heard that happen with other authors too. So it's just, I'd be curious if readers ever do that, but
I,
so
that I'm I that blows my mind. Um, so full disclosure, I don't think I've ever actually said it like on my Instagram, but I actually intentionally don't read reviews on Goodreads or Amazon, mostly because I don't want to go in biased.
yeah,
Um, because like I mean, I don't like sushi. Plenty of people like sushi. Like how, if we don't have the same taste, you don't know what I'm gonna like, right?
correct,
Um,
for sure.
but I did go through, um, and obviously I've already read all of your books.
Thank
But
you.
I, yeah, but I did go through to read the reviews of You'll Never Know. And I saw some of these comments and it just blows my mind. Like, if I personally wanted to read, and not that I don't, but if I wanted to read about Caleb Stevens, the person, I would expect you to write an autobiography. But you're writing thrillers. So never once in my mind did I read your book and think, oh man, yeah, this internal monologue is definitely Caleb's internal monologue.
Yes, it's interesting that it'd be saying like Stephen King is a serial killer, right? Like he's out there
Right.
with bodies in his basement. Like we wouldn't have
Yeah,
any of his stories. So.
yeah.
Um,
No, blows my mind.
And I think a
um,
lot of the times, readers, this is kind of crazy too. If they read, I shouldn't say crazy because everybody's welcome to their own opinion. But when, as a reader, you read something, you don't really jive with it or like it, but then say after a couple chapters, you DNF the book and then you give it a rating. And
and then
it's
you
like
leave
you,
a review.
and you leave a review and it's like you didn't get to see the character arc. You didn't get potentially to see the growth in the character or why things were done to begin with because characters should start one way and finish a completely different way. So, growth is part of the human journey.
Part of the reason why I don't read reviews.
Yeah,
Like
smart.
I can't trust them. Obviously, I understand why you would want to read them. That makes perfect sense. But me as a reader, I want to make my own decisions, and that's yeah. No, someone that didn't finish the book to leave a review. What is that going to mean to me? You didn't even finish it. How?
Yeah, it's one of my
What am I
pet
going to do with
peeves.
that?
I don't, and it's
Yeah,
fun because I don't really read a whole lot of reviews except for when the book comes out. But sometimes I'll dip
yeah.
in. So
Well, good on you for, I mean, I think if I were to write a book, I probably wouldn't read them. I would just look at the people posting on Instagram saying how amazing I am and call it a day. But that's just me.
Good way to do it.
Just take the positive, the negative can
Yes.
just,
Yeah.
it's not,
Stay where they are.
everything's not for everybody. So it's fine. Um, okay, so we just got right into it. And we skipped my rapid fire. So I want to do rapid fire really quickly.
Okay.
Because all I know right now about Caleb Stevens as a person is that he doesn't hate women. So I want to know more.
Unless you read, you'll never know, and then I
Yeah,
do.
right. I mean, yeah, that's true. Okay, so I put a post up the other day, and someone mentioned that they would want to know um, what an author's favorite go-to pizza order is. So, what do you get on a pizza?
Mine is sausage, pepperoni, and mushroom. Pretty basic.
Okay.
That's what I like.
How do you feel about pineapple on pizza?
Yeah, Canadian bacon and
Okay.
pineapple is awesome too. Love it.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Hawaiian
Okay.
pizza is awesome.
All right. So I still like you as a person. Let's
Yeah.
continue.
Good to know.
Um, I don't judge people based on their
It's on
pizza
pizza.
toppings. No, no.
Good.
It's more based on the internal monologues of the characters in their books, but we're
Yes.
good. It's fine. um, Coffee or tea?
I like both, but it's definitely coffee. It's what I drink on a day-to-day basis for sure.
That's fair. Caffeine.
Yes, got to get
Caffeine's
the
more.
caffeine one way or the other. Yep.
When you write, do you outline ahead of time or are you free writing?
I do both, believe it or not.
Okay.
So, a little bit of a longer answer, but I have completely plotted entire books. And if I do that, what I've come to find it's a good way in the beginning to help you learn story structure, I think, and to sort of plan a novel, but to do that with every single book, for me at least, the thing is you can't exactly tell where a book's going to go as you write it. So you want it to be organic too. And so what I've kind of come to is a blend where it's like I'll kind of plot out the main beats for 3 chapters or so. And then, I'm sorry, not 3 chapters, the 3 main acts. So I know kind of what a story is within 3 sentences, and then I start to expand it from there, and I'll come back and revisit. But a lot of the times, I mean, plotting for me helps for sure, but not the entire book.
Um, so much for rapid fire, but I have questions now.
Yeah, go ahead, feel
So,
free.
so have there been times where, and like I'm picturing it right now, right? You've got these three main pieces, and you start actually physically writing the first piece, and it doesn't quite match up with part two. Um, are you more inclined to change part two, or go back and change how part one led to part two?
It's I'm kind of dealing with that right now with my current book in a way. Um, Man, it's really tough because you don't a lot of the times you don't quite know how to even write this is going to sound bad, but writing is just not easy. And so you can write an entire first draft and like this is kind of where I'm at with my current book and realize that there's still like so much work to do and so many changes to make. But I do, for the most part, try to build a somewhat strong spine through the story to where like I probably need to change. I'm changing some of part one for my current read, but I'm trying to keep it and retain it and make it work because I like it, but at the same time, it needs some tweaks. So whether it's changing part two or part one, it just totally depends on the story itself. Uh,
Okay.
there's the one thing I've learned with writing is there's no one step fixes all. Every book is different every time, and you think you have it and you don't. Every book is honestly writing is just it's just really hard, and it's rare that a story just pours out at you. So for me, at least.
So it doesn't just like happen? You don't just like wake up one morning and have a story?
Now there it to an extent actually that does the ideas themselves like the overall inspiration for books sometimes do pop in your head like that. And I have had one book like You'll Never Know did kind of pour out of me. So, but that's rare. It's definitely the exception. So,
Um, do you like it better that way? When it's just like it just kind of comes out, or do you like the process of like having to work?
I definitely like it better when it just comes out. It's called like it's basically being in the flow. So it's like when somebody's doing a piece of art or a musician, they're really feeling it. I think you can write better that way. It's a hard state of mind to achieve though. When you do work. I'm proud of all my books, and I think most authors, when you work through blocks and obstacles, at the end of the day, you know, you're putting out something worthy that you've had to work for. So,
I would imagine that's very rewarding. Um, so speaking of like the blocks and obstacles, what do you feel is like something that, I don't know, not necessarily stifles your creativity? And like obviously everyone knows like writer's block is a thing, but what is something that can kind of like block you, and how do you get past that?
yeah, for me, I know very clearly what that is, and it's like if I'm in high stress times in my personal life, I cannot focus on story. It's hard. So when I say personal, even if it's like work, or whatever. Just if stuff is kind of chaotic and I'm multitasking and not able to just give the story the time it needs, then that's when I have the blocks. So
That makes sense. Do you just wait for life to settle then and then get back to it?
I'm real bad at that just because I'm type A. So I like
Yeah,
continue to pound my head against the book, you know, until it breaks. But it's not a good way to go because a lot of the times I'll end up getting burned out, and I do have to take some time off.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's a decent segue. We're like all out of order, so I hope that you don't
Oh,
hate me.
whatever.
But
No, not at all.
um, um, so what do you do when you're not writing? Like, obviously, I don't need super details, but just that's always fascinated me. Like, obviously, like a lot of people think like, oh, this person's a full-time author, but they're also all of these other things. And I'm just curious,
Yeah,
what do you
no,
do?
it's always a good question. I and you know, I have three girls, so they're for age 50, gosh, they'll be 15 this year. It's crazy. I have twins who are going to be 15, and then I've
Wow.
got an 11-year-old. And so life is, you know, on the personal side is always busy, always hopping, always going to sporting events or doing things around the house or hanging with them. Um, and then we foster dogs, so it's more my daughter's and my wife's passion, but I still like dogs a lot, so we always have like crazy dogs running around the house and hanging out with them. uh Play guitar when I have some time, but there's not a whole lot of time for that. It's yeah, it's life is busy but good, I guess, really. So don't have anything too crazy. If we had more time, I'd like to ski more, um get out in the nature more, but it feels like things just go too fast. You probably know. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Life,
I guess.
life is lifing. I mean,
Massive, massive.
mine aren't 15, but yeah, yeah.
Yes, twins are 15.
15-year-old
Cool.
twins are twin girls.
Hmm.
I I have a 3-year-old girl, and she's already the boss of me, and I don't want to think of when she's 15. So I can't imagine having two of them at 15, and um, I don't envy you.
There are
I,
a lot of feelings in the house.
yeah,
A lot of
I'm
emotions for
sure.
sure.
I'm sure. Do they read your books
Yeah,
at
they do.
15?
My
I
my
mean,
girls are real
yeah,
big readers, and they basically have, well, one of them's read I think all of my books, and others read like three. My youngest I haven't read the books yet, but I think
yeah,
she's
no, that
starting
makes sense.
kind of close.
Yeah, we're getting there for sure. Yeah, Ash wants to know if you like, do you, because of life, do you set aside blocks for yourself to write?
Yeah, I only have four books out, but I have a total of six that I've written. And I've done that over a period of like, man, it's like 16 or 17 years at this point, and it's been while working. So, you know, 5 in the morning, lunch breaks, weekends, slotting it into the margins of my life, which just doesn't really allow for, I think, writing the best books I can. So I just recently finished up with a company, and I am going to attempt to go full time with writing. So I'm looking forward to, and I mean, even now, even though the transition's been super busy, I'm enjoying, like, you know, I'm definitely able to focus more and start to get into the story more. So my blocks of time though are, and I need to get better at it because sometimes I tend to write all day, which is not honestly healthy a lot of the times. So, but more mornings if I can, when I'm fresh and the world is quiet. So that's when I like to do it.
That's crazy to me too, because mornings are not. I am a nighttime person. Like,
Okay. Your
yeah,
brain
you
is at
asked
night.
me to do.
My brain kind of shuts down at night. So
Oh yeah, no, I'm the opposite. My brain doesn't start working until, don't tell my boss, noon.
yeah, that's the same. I mean, people have their own like biological clocks,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah. Um, so book that you're working on right now, do you have an idea of when it's going to be? Ready?
Yeah, so it's crazy because again, with books just not working out perfectly, I started a different book after You'll Never Know, and I made it about a quarter of the way through, and at that point in time, it wasn't working. So I had to
Okay.
set it aside. I've written enough books to realize like when that's the case, I could potentially come back to it. But I got a bit of a late start on the current one because of that, because then I had to set that aside and then sort of rethink about what I wanted to write for this one. And I I was kind of hoping for this fall. What I'm thinking it might actually a more realistic time frame. We'll see, but it may end up being early January. And it's sorry,
You're good.
losing my voice. Um, it it just depends on how this rest of the story and this rewrite come together because I always want to put out the very best books I can, and I don't want to like compromise because I could get a book out, but I'm kind of a perfectionist, so not every book will be perfect, not every book will be as good as the last one or whatever, but I want every one of my books at least to be the best it can be. So I'm hoping to get that. The other thing I'm kind of tired of, I've gotten myself into this publishing cycle of like November, and this is like a probably a me thing, but within 2 months, it's last year's book. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a good point.
So
I never even really thought of that.
yeah, it's like 2 months. It's like last year. I'm like, oh man. So what I'm kind of tentatively hoping for is to put one out in January, and then I've already got the idea for my next book to put that one out, maybe in like August or something. So 2 books next year, hopefully.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even really think about it. I looked at something about You'll Never Know earlier today and it said 2025 and I was just like, I definitely, there's no way. But I read it in January. So to me, it was a 2026 book.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
that makes
To me,
sense.
it, to me, it feels like a 26 book, but yeah, it's 2025. So
Yeah. No, I always look forward to your books. Just super quick side note. Um I I want to say we were on vacation, maybe it was 2 years ago, and my mother-in-law, so like I don't read reviews. My mother-in-law, I will take recs from her all day, every day. And we were on vacation in North Carolina and she's laying in bed reading a book and she's like, have you have you heard of this book, Girls in the Cabin? And I was just like, no. And she was like, it's by I don't, Caleb Caleb Stephens. And I was just like, no, I don't know. I've never heard of it. But then I binged it, and then here we are.
all right, we got you hooked.
So
So I owe you
yeah,
one
it's
more.
just and I don't think it's just me. But and I don't know if it's maybe a symptom of my personality, but when I find a writer that I like, I latch on. Like, so I will be stalking January
Good
for
to
a new
know.
book
Good
from
to
you.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, you can always count on you got me once, you've got me for life. Unless I find out that you're a misogynist, in which case I will change I will
Well,
change my mind.
I think my girl's in a pretty good place. So
No, I think you're good. Um, so I do need to know, while you're writing, obviously you're in the midst of it right now. How do you come up with names for your characters? Do
I
they do they just like come out fully formed, or do you go back and name them afterwards?
no,
Like,
no, and I need to get a little bit better of a process there. One of the something I learned from Noelle Eiley because I was at a book signing with her, but she will take she'll sign books as stickers that people like their names will be on the books, and she'll put those aside and she'll use those for uh, the character names. So
interesting. So
yeah,
right
so
now,
I'll
how
get
are
to
you
do
doing
that.
it? Are you doing it just like naming like name a child? You're just like, oh, this one will be
Yeah,
Joe.
it's so what I end up doing is I kind of think about people I know sometimes, but a lot of the times I try not to pick readers that I know real well because they or people that I know real well because I feel like it'll kind of like influence the character itself, and I like those to develop organically. But a lot of the times, it's like I'll go look at Nameless or Baby Nameless or um, and I change characters' names a lot until it feels like it fits, but there's not really like a quantitative reason for that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
um, that's how I need to start. I want to start using more unique names though, and find an easier way to do that because I do kind of struggle with that at times.
Well, there goes my idea for Sarah because it's the least unique name out there. But just so you know, It's
Sarah, I'll do it at
it's
some point for
available.
sure. You got it.
It's available.
Okay.
No, but it's funny because like when I was thinking about like a list of questions, I was like, I wonder, like, do people just sit down with a spreadsheet and just start listing baby names and then like
Yeah, yeah. A lot of the
vetoing them
times
as
that's
they
the
go?
case. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. Um, we kind of already talked about like you getting into a flow. Um, Julie is
Choose
not
less
less
common.
common. um, so we kind of already talked about you like getting into a flow. Um, what's like, where's like the weirdest place that you've gotten hit with inspiration that made you like have to like stop and do something with it? Or is that not a thing that
It,
happens in real life?
no, it does. It does, and it's but it's not like exotic places or anything like that. Typically, it's just like weird. So, I like when I came up with the idea for You'll Never Know. I was just cooking dinner with my wife, and I had this weird idea, and I kind of talked to her about it, and she's like, "Yeah, that sounds like a pretty cool idea," and she kind of riffed on it a little bit. The where I solve a lot of the problems and come up with ideas is in the shower. I don't know why, but I think it's because it's just kind of like your mind's disconnected a little bit, and so I think through things in the shower a lot. So kind of weird, but that's where a
No,
lot of
it's
it is.
not. No, that's totally valid. Um, but I'm now picturing like a white erase board in the shower
Yeah,
where
I
you
need
just
one.
like
That's what I need.
take notes in the shower.
I just do it in the steam, like put it in put it on the
Right in
glass.
the glass.
Yes, yeah,
Perfect. I love that. Um, no,
yeah.
don't do that. Um, just leave a notebook on the sink next to the shower. That way, as soon as you get out, you
Just get
can
some, yeah,
you
there
can
you
go for
go.
it. Um, what is the biggest compliment a reader can give you?
Honestly, just like it always blows my mind when somebody says I'm their favorite author. It's like just insane to me. I never thought people would say that because I've been doing this for so long, and I still like. I think I'm starting to get some traction, but I would say that I'm still relatively unknown compared to a lot of the bigger names for sure, traditionally published authors, and so that's just it means a lot when people say that. So it's crazy.
So it's crazy backwards though that you aren't more well known because in my brain like you're a go-to and so I really didn't like how is this not a thing
Yeah.
but you're gaining a ton of traction just in general like I've seen a couple of those reviews like it was a recommendation on Book Talk and it's just like how does that because you've been writing for a while how is social media like how's that playing into how you're approaching things.
And social media has been huge. It's the only way that I've broken out. I've been traditionally published, so I have had a book come out, like The Girls in the Cabin came out through a publisher in the UK called Jaffe Books. And so at that point, I've been through so much rejection that I didn't expect anybody to read it at all. And I had no hopes or, expectations whatsoever. And so people started reading it all. Like I started getting traction. I was like, whoa, this is weird. So I popped on, and I'd heard good things about like book talks. So I got on TikTok and started contacting some book talkers, and some of them were kind enough to take a book from a new author. And once people started like talking about my books, it was just like wow, my eyes were opened. I started interacting with readers and the book talk crowd. And it was just so much fun. It was just like it was so cool to see like people enjoying my books. So TikTok above all else has really been the thing I think that's moved my books, but definitely like Instagram and Facebook too are great venues, and definitely like being active at some point. If I get if I can do it at some point, it'd be nice to have somebody help me manage that because a lot of the times I'm not fully consistent enough. I try to be, but it's also expensive to do something like that too, so
We could talk later.
yeah.
If you need a
Yeah.
social media manager, I can help maybe.
It's weird because I'm
Um,
just like I'm not at that break point yet though because I've got all this extra time now that I've quit, so I'm going to do it for a while. But I also need to I need more books. I basically just need more books out because the income stream is just not consistent enough yet. So
well, I'm here to help break you out on Bookstagram. I
all
was
right.
I was I was late. I didn't like everybody got into TikTok during COVID, and I just like I didn't. Um, and now here we are on Instagram, and I personally like Instagram better because I don't like posting videos. Oh,
Yeah, I get that. 100% get that. Yeah, totally.
I just it's the same stuff over and over again, so I
Yeah,
like to
it
post
is.
pretty pictures and
Yeah,
reviews and stuff, but
I need to be more
whatever
active on
works.
Instagram. Yeah.
Well, I do have to say, like, it completely, and I can tell you, I speak for everyone. And if I don't speak for everyone, then I'm sorry. But when authors interact with readers on any platform, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, um, it is game changing. Um, just, and I know even you being willing to do this has turned people into be like, oh, I should check him out. Because just like you as a person interacting with readers makes people want to read your books. So thank
I
you for doing
Well,
that.
it's funny because I feel like for me at least the feeling's mutual, so it's like a two-way street, and I never it's one of my favorite things to do is just to talk about books in general. And I just it blows my mind that like people are this passionate about books too, and I just love that. So
It's a little weird. It's
yeah,
fine.
no, it's
Everything's
amazing.
fine.
It's like it restored my faith in like readers because for a long time you just didn't. It felt like reading was dying in some ways, especially like when ebooks first started, you know. And you didn't hear about books, and then all of a sudden it just started to creep up on social media more. And I was like, wait, there's this whole entire community out there who just like love books and reading and stories and interacting with people. So again, it's 100% a two-way street, and I'll chat with anybody about books anytime. So
It's good to know because I'd really love to talk about the next one. What's it about? Just
you got
remember me when you're big and famous
it.
that you once upon a time said that you would interact with readers.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I've been doing it
Don't
again. I've
forget
been
me.
doing this for a long time, so there's no, I can't really change who I am, so I won't.
No, I feel like I don't know. I you're so humble, and it is so appreciated because, like I said, I interacting with authors and giving you guys a platform is like the thing that I want to do.
That's
So
so cool. I
again,
just, again, so appreciate you and people like you who do that. So two-way street.
anytime you want to borrow my platform to do a live, even if you want to, I'll turn my camera off. You can do it by yourself. Like,
Hey, all
go for
right.
it.
Perfect. Sounds
Just tell
good.
me when. Um, oh my good. Oh my gosh. I have a ton of questions and I don't know how I missed it.
AJ.
Um, okay, not actually a question, but found you on Book Talk. So glad I did. Definitely a top five thriller author now
Huge.
from Books with Brittany. So
I know Brenny.
okay,
Yeah. Hey, Brenny.
yeah, there you go. Um, okay, I think AJ's question was your favorite book that's not a thriller?
I've got a couple. So to go just total like lit fic almost, I would go like The Elements by John Boyne is a fantastic book. He wrote The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, and
Okay,
it's
yeah.
got some thriller elements to it. But the guy's just a fantastic writer. And this book specifically is four novellas that are sort of intertwined. I won't give away much about the story other than to say like everybody's lives sort of keep intersecting with everybody else's. But it was full of twists I didn't see coming. It's just I need to read way more of his stuff. Broken Country is amazing by Claire Hall. That's super awesome book. I'm a big fan of like I like the Red Rising series is like my all timer. I just love that. I love all the
Okay,
Dungeon Crawler Carl series. So I read pretty widely. So
okay. I love that. I always gravitate towards the suspense thrillers, but I intentionally have to like pull myself out of that sometimes.
thrillers.
Yeah, I just start looking at people funny, like I suspect them of murder, and I'm just like, all right,
Yeah.
maybe I need to read a romance book or a fantasy book.
One of
Um,
the things about thrillers, and again, not to just be like it's a stereotype, but I do think that sometimes the character work in thrillers can be a little shallow, because it's more plot heavy, you know, by design. But I like characters, so I'm trying to do deeper characters, and so because I like books about characters too, if they're really well done.
yeah.
Another one that's just fantastic is uh it's like Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine, I think, by
Yes.
Gail Honeyman. Just like that, talk about just an awesome character, you know, like so.
Yeah, character development is huge, and you're right. There are some thrillers, unfortunately. most of the fillers are like characters we love to hate.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that
which
for sure.
like, yeah, like it's fine. But there's some that just like, yeah, my favorites are the ones that have the characters fully developed. Either either direction, either I hate them or I love them. Cough, read, cough. But yeah. So, um, what was the last book you read then? You just gave us a bunch of recs, but
I just I read Those Girls by Chevy Stevens. Um,
brilliant.
it's brilliant. It was so hard to get through that first part, but it was really well done. I was thinking about putting it down, and then the last two, and then I read because it's just like a book, book talk Instagram legend, but Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. I'm just like,
Hold on.
and I'm like,
As a thriller author, this is your first time reading Pretty Girls?
it is, yeah. It's been sitting in my office forever, and I just finally got around to it. Like I've started it like probably 10 times, and then life gets in the way. So I was like,
Yeah.
I've got to get through this book. So I read it, and it was fantastic. But I also, again, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like it's such a
Sometimes it's
brutal book.
hard.
Yeah,
Yeah. And those are definitely the ones where after I finish it, I'm just like, okay, give me a fluffy rom
yeah.
com.
You got to be like, yes, it's just it's too dark. Like I'm going Dungeon Crawler Carl or something after that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and Pretty Girls is that's a thick book. So I'd
yeah.
imagine with everything you've got going on that like that's not like a one sitting.
And I actually read pretty slow. I like to listen to books because I can get through them a lot faster than I can with
Yeah.
reading. So yeah.
Um, okay, well, so when you physically read, Kindle or physical
Pa-
book,
Paperbacks, just because
paperbacks,
I'm an accountant by trade, and all I do is stare at screens. So I love just regular books.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Um, and so I love that you listen to books because I listen to a lot of books. What speed do you listen to audiobooks on?
I have a hard time going above like 1.75. I know a lot of people will go way higher than that, but
Okay,
how fast do you go?
you don't want to know.
I do. Like, is it like three or four?
It's three.
Three?
It's three. But it like I don't know. Now it's just kind of I can get through a 9 hour book in 3 hours, which is just I look I like books, so
I
like
mean,
it's
there's
cool
like
that it goes
there's
that
two
fast.
ways of looking at that though, because and I agree with you. That's why I kind of speed up too, because sometimes it's too slow, but also it's like you're not. That's maybe 9 hours of enjoyment you could have too. Like if it's a great book that you blow through in three, it's I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is there.
It's
So
true. Well, I mean, you get it. Life is life, and like if
yeah,
I actually listen to a 9 hour book on 1 or 1.5, like it could take me who knows how long it would take me
yeah,
because I have to turn on those audiobooks whenever I get a chance.
yeah.
Um, but it happened like very naturally. Like there was just a narrator that like it was like molasses, and I was like, let me try to speed this up, and then
It can be
I went to
slow.
1.8, and then
Yeah,
I went to 1.9, and
yeah.
then all of a sudden I was at three, and like I can't listen to anything less than three now. So
Once you get
like
used
it's
to it too, I've noticed it's hard to go
yeah
lower once you get used to a speed.
yeah.
So I mean, I can't do one anymore. It's just impossible. So yeah, but
Try going from one to one from three.
yeah, three would be like I think they'd sound like chipmunks to me.
They do. They
Yeah,
do. And there are times, especially if like the narrator's from the UK, I'll have to turn it down because accents get really, really messed up. Um, but yeah, no, there was one time my book started playing by accident when I got in the car, and whoever I was with at the time was just like, "Is this your book? I thought it was the end of a prescription commercial where they list all the warnings." And it's just like, "Oh, yeah,
yeah, all the warnings at the end.
yeah."
That's hilarious.
Um, it's fine. As yeah, I try not to accidentally let my audiobooks play because then people are like, so what's wrong with you?
Yeah,
um, all right, I want to make sure that we get to some of the questions that were in the chat, and I also want to be respectful of your time. Um, any book tour plans for the next one? I know you don't even like have a release date, but Lonnie asked if you plan on touring and if you're coming to Metro Detroit, because that's where her and I both are.
oh, very cool. So typically, like if you're gonna do, say, a book tour, which I would like to do, but as an indie author right now, I think my most important priority is to just like write and get books out there. Uh, and when I'm at a point where maybe I can afford it a little bit better, because right now I'd have to sort of like set that all up myself and pay for all the travel. And like a publisher, if you go through a publisher, a lot of times they will pay for that. And that is one of the benefits of traditional publishing. I would love to do it. I think it'd be a blast. I will. What I'm going to try to do, probably more next year than this year, is go to more reader events. Like I went to the creepy the creepy retreat
Yep.
in Arizona, which was fantastic, and that was so much fun. And Readers Take Denver used to be here, but that got canceled and blown up. So, but yeah, if I'm in Detroit, I will let you know. So,
Yeah, please do.
book cons are a good place because it's where you can go meet a ton of readers in one spot versus, if you're doing bookstore tours, you're maybe getting 20 to, 15 to 30 to 40 people
Yeah.
coming, which is great. But like you could go to, if you go to a reader con, there's thousands. And so it's a good way to at least use it or meet people while I can't afford a full book tour at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
that's fair.
Mhm.
All right. Next goal is to sell so many books that you are going to come to Metro Detroit. Got it.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Done.
I'm on it. Um, Shay wants you to come to Salt Lake. Um, Shay, we're going to work on it. You and I together. Okay. Lots of really nice comments about how good you are at engaging with readers. So
Oh, that's good.
thanks.
Good.
Do you typically, like, if you're writing about something that maybe you don't know about, are you consulting Google, or do you have like contacts where it's like, I don't know, like, do you have a corner on speed dial? Like, how does
I,
that work for you?
yeah, a lot of it's like for just the basic stuff. And what's interesting when you're writing books, it's crazy how much you don't know. You think you
Yeah.
know, but like you want to know the mechanics of a bike or something. Oh, it has two wheels, but if you want to get into the spokes, and there's just, it teaches you how little you truly know. So I do a lot of internet searching, but what I try to do with my stories is create interesting stories in a way that I can tell them, meaning, as at least as of now, I'm not doing a ton of like cop procedural stories. I'm not
Right.
doing the
Yeah.
FBI. I'm not doing the CIA. I'm not doing, a doctor with a medical thriller or something that you could easily be called out as not knowing what the heck you're talking about. So I try to, and I think there's a lot of really interesting everyday stories that can be told without like crazy amounts of research. And
I love
I
that.
get bogged down in research. So
That's, yeah, I feel like I would end up in like some crazy rabbit holes and maybe never come out of them. Would
yes,
learn
yeah, and
things I don't
it's
want to know, and then the
two
story
hours
would
later.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, oh my gosh. Okay. Ash is typing right now. Um, for all the fellow indie thriller authors working in the shadows, what is your biggest advice?
Don't lurk in the shadows anymore.
She's not
Honestly,
lurking in the
yeah.
shadows.
I'm kidding. No, I get that. I do get that question a decent amount from people. And the one thing, if we get a little bit into, say, the AI discussion, AI written books, those types of things, it drives me crazy because the one thing I've learned with writing, even if you have an affinity for it, and I'm just talking about my experience here, it's a little bit like beating your head against a brick wall. And truly, it's so hard to. Um, Let me back up. When I first started reading, even about being an author, I had so many people in like books say, "Get ready for rejection," right? And so you think you're ready for rejection. It's the same thing as being told before you have kids, you think you're ready for kids because you have like two dogs or something. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
it's like a baseball bat to the head. So um, the amount of rejection you have to go through, the amount of learning the craft and learning how to tell a story properly, and putting yourself out there, and getting over all these fears you've had your entire life. There's for me there was a huge fear of even just letting people I knew who I'd grown up with even that know that I was writing, because it just, to me in my head it was kind of like, oh, you're an author, that's a pipe, you want to be an author, that's a pipe dream, right? Like you're never like, oh, that's a nice hobby, that's, and it would drive me crazy. So and the funny thing is, once I put out my work, I've been like so supported by so many different people. Supported by all the people I grew up with, who I went to high school with, who college, and I think it's just a matter of over time doing the things that you need to do as an author, and loving it and writing because you love it, that people start to pick up on that. And if you just don't ever give up, I know that sounds pretty vague as far as advice goes, but like actionable, I would say an actionable step is like, continuing to put work out there, making sure that you're doing things. If you want to do indie publishing in a way that it can be differentiated between like a traditional publisher, a fantastic cover, make sure your books have been through editorial development, make sure that, there's not a bunch of grammar typo errors, those types of things. And once you start doing that and people start reading your books, it's just continuing to, um, stay on the track and not give up. No, not giving up's the hardest part because I probably went through. I tell this story every time I'm on an interview, but I was rejected with my agent when I had an agent trying to go the trad path for like 2 years after spending 6 years writing two different books, and it was like 8 years later, nobody even knew who I was or read any of my books, and so kind of got on the
Well,
soapbox there by accident, but.
no, we know who you are now. Along the same lines, um, best way that you've found to market your work slash yourself, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just word of mouth. I think that's the best way. You just have to write books and interact with readers and do so in a way that's, natural to you, and they will spread the word and people will get behind you and people support you. And that's really, I have more faith now that I have a little bit of a readership that I can actually take a shot at doing this. Whereas before, um, let me put it this way. I think once you develop a readership, I think it's kind of hard to lose them unless you're just putting out, crap, right? Like multiple really bad books. They're going to give you another
Yeah.
chance. So,
Or if you come out as a misogynist,
yes. I mean, if you come out as a misogynist, it's game over, right?
it's
So,
over. Yeah, sorry. No, that's so true though. And I mean, you see it all over. Like, we're kind of cultish. I mean, not in a bad way, but like, once you
you
once
guys
you
are
have
doing
someone support,
you guys are doing God's work. I mean, you're angels. Seriously. I mean, everybody, it's weird. It's weird again in that previously when I grew up and before social media and those types of things, which I'm far too old to really be going crazy on, but I love it. So I'm doing it anyways. But
please
when
do.
I grew up, it was, you had to be selected by a traditional publisher. There wasn't a choice. Like it was gate
Yeah.
kept. Indie publishing didn't even become a thing until, the little bit late 2000s is when it kind of started. So before that, like you guys allow us to do what we do. So, which is
Yay.
awesome, right? Like it's just, I don't know. It's a lot of the times I think writers, that's another piece of advice I have is I think a lot of times writers think that the only way to success is going traditional when in reality you can be hybrid about things and you can experiment with a traditional publisher and you can do an audiobook like I did an audio like You'll Never Know is with Simon and Schuster. So but you can put stuff out yourself too and get your work read. So
Love it. I'm pretty sure I went between audiobook and physical book for You'll Never Know. That audiobook was fantastic.
they did a really good job with that. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
really pleased.
Um, okay, I don't think I have any more questions. This is a great learning experience for me because I don't want to have to keep looking down at my iPad to see what Ash is typing in here. Um, so we'll figure it out. I cannot thank you enough for being my first live interview.
Of
Um,
course, yeah. Happy to.
it's so crazy. Um, and I love just learning about your process and who you are as a person and the fact that you're writing books while raising three daughters. It blows my mind with a house full of dogs. So
Yes,
there's
yeah.
that
It's
too.
all, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, no, seriously. Um, Congratulations on
Thank you.
potentially making this a full-time thing.
Yes,
Um, and I really hope that, us as readers can help support that. Um, that's what we're here for.
you have, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate you inviting me to be on your first interview. So it
Yes,
was fun.
Oh,
And thanks to everybody
um,
who joined too.
yeah, I appreciate you guys. If you missed any part of this, I will post it on YouTube sometime tomorrow. Um, Thanks for coming to spill the ink with me, Caleb.
Well, all right. See you later, Sarah.
Bye.
Bye.